Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to what is, unfortunately, at least for the time being, the last Palworld video. So first, let's do a real quick tour of the base as it stands in the modern day without me doing pretty much anything else. I've settled on doing the sleek modern tiles alternating with glass tiles. Started out with stone alternating with glass, and then I actually really liked how the glass looked. And so what I tried to do was for most vertical surfaces, stick with glass, except for the walls in front of the base. I set those up to be the polymer-based material. I don't know if that's more structurally sound or not, but it seemed better to put up the barrier as something other than glass. And I also like the way that the polymer steps look better than the way the glass steps look in there. I'm accidentally attacking my base with Jet Dragon. I probably should have mounted something a little bit slower than him to fly around and look outside because he's super fast, but he's not super easy to control. And I've got the Techno skin on him and combine that with my current armor and it makes it look like I'm something out of Tron. But yeah, that's just the general outer view with the house portion being just mostly glass. And right now I'll just take you a real quick run through exactly how I have the base organized. This video will actually, at least for the first good chunk of it, mostly just be commenting on actual gameplay stuff for once. Shock. This floor here was the biggest pain in the rear because I didn't realize exactly how much vertical space the expedition thing takes. And I also couldn't fix the tiles underneath it because it's a structure that you're not really allowed to alter the space around it. Right after this video, there's actually going to be a little bit of a cut and jump, which, congratulations, is the first video where I actually use some transitions whenever I do some cuts. But I decided to add a glass while I ended up working obsessively on it for almost another hour after recording that initial footage. So now, an effort to jump around and show the other bases. Getting ready to do that. Then I realized someone was starving, so I decided to check and see which base had people starving really quickly. And I didn't see notices for a bunch of them, so I thought it might just be one. But then when I jump to my oil base, what I see is a base full of hungry pals. Reason being, this one's actually my best salad production base, so I completely forgot to come and switch those 2,000 over into the bowl because it had 2,000 in it the last time I checked. But not that big a deal. I go ahead and drop down an extra Japanese style hot tub. Like, I think I can get rid of that one. I may not show it on screen, but I drop another hot tub, sleep to the day, make sure everyone's actually eating and okay, and then start the tour again. But I'm pretty sure I skipped the part where I patched the sanity on a few people, and instead we go straight to the flying tour. Now, I've increased the number of bases that I can have. I can't increase the number of pals per base, so even though I started to do this one as a double base, which you'll see in just a second, I've not really done anything in the upper level yet. It's primarily there just to produce oil and salads. But I started working on this area down here, connecting foundations around and whatnot so that I could actually go through and just cover the whole thing, at the very least to keep other pals from spawning. What I'm considering doing is once I finish laying foundation down, pulling up the PAL box, moving it back a bit, and then erecting a couple vertical walls in between the oil production base and this one, and then using this one as a raid base, because once I finished fully kitting that one out with oil pumps, I haven't ran into a situation where I need more than what they're making. And I do need a raid base still. That's the one video I might end up making, is me taking down Moonlord, because I don't feel like I've truly done everything from Terraria yet. Also, here's where the obsessive base building stuff starts kicking in again, and I'm like, okay, I need to do checker pattern with glass. So let's just skip ahead and show you me finish filling it in with glass pieces. So yeah, looks better, and gives the pals down below a little bit of sunlight. That's actually what was bothering me, was that there was no light filtering through. I know it's a game, I know they're not real things, but it's almost like Digimon or one of those other little things you carried around as a kid, a Tamagotchi. You feel like you gotta at least give them some fake comfort. One of those people that if I owned a robot, I would probably treat it more like a pet than a machine, which I don't think it has the same ethical implications. Anyway, this is a mining base. The main job here is to help produce as much ore for whatever type that I need, so I always throw down the little farms. But it actually has some great ore nodes on its own when you first come to this area, so this is actually a good place to set up a starting base if you really want to. And the ability to build up vertically right there, you can build a massive enough structure that you could actually build everything vertically like I did my main base. So it's another good spot to potentially do a main base. Anyway, now that we've done the base tours, let's show you what it's like running through the Terraria dungeon with my current gear, which includes a laser Gatling gun. I have an AK, but I'm pretty sure at the moment I have I can't remember. I've got a bunch of secondary weapons in my bag. I have one of the swords that you can make out of this dungeon. It's just currently broken, and predator cores, farming them up seems to be eluding me. Oh, look, there's mushrooms. That's where I was getting the mushrooms from, but they've mostly expired back to my base. Anyway, this is significantly easier now. If you didn't notice, I was able to just take it out with the Gatling gun. There's nothing in this anymore that poses any sort of danger with my current level. That's one of the reasons why I think it actually might be kind of fun to take on Moonlord. And if I decide to do that, that'll just be a video on its own, but it'd be a real quick video. Like, I'd go over exactly how I built up my raid army, which the raid army part is the thing that keeps me from actually doing raids. Because at the moment, I'm trying to max out my Neptilus, which I haven't pulled him out in here. I don't know if I have him yet as of when I recorded this. Yeah, I should have him. Yeah, there he is. Well, beside the Rayhound. The Rayhound just moves faster through here. I'm kind of just skipping along at this point because I know there's not a whole lot of point in killing a whole bunch of this stuff, and I don't need much of it, and it kind of bothers me the way it doesn't really organize well within the PAL box, so I don't capture it obsessively either. Anyway, trying to max out Neptilius, so I've been breeding to try to get him up to 5 stars, which, by the way, he's not got the perfect passive, so it's not like I've done that much work on him. He's pretty good, but he's not perfect. I haven't been feeding him fruit, and that's taking forever. So I can't imagine trying to do that to build up a full raid group. So a full set of 20 pals to take down a boss, because the raid bosses all have 1,000,000 plus HP. But I'm still curious how it seems. So, I don't know, I'm kind of torn between trying to work towards an optimal solo character build or work towards an optimal PAL raid group build. And we'll see. Either way, I'm going to continue playing this game in my spare time, so I'm probably going to take on the raid bosses at some point. And if I start a hard mode playthrough, then I'll probably record that as well, just for the sake of having the footage in case I do want to do the series on it. So far, these videos have actually performed pretty well, which means there's some motivation to find a way to continue doing them. But some of them have performed well, some of them haven't, but I don't know. It's not like the channel's thriving yet. By the way, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. But they have actually performed a little bit better than usual, and the shorts on them work out decently well. If you don't like YouTube shorts, if you actually watch these videos, there's no need for you to watch the shorts, because I just pull a couple more interesting clips, I think, from my longer form videos and play those back as shorts. The shorts are more or less advertisements for the main channel. It's just something I'm kind of trying right now to see if I can drive extra traffic to the channel. Even throwing them in on TikTok as well. You see me stop to try to capture these guys because I don't remember seeing the big ones the last time I was in here. So I was like, okay, well, let's capture something new. And sure enough, they were new. Apparently, there's a ton of different slimes in here. Wow, okay. So, just to reiterate, I tend to play with the game muted or without sound at all. So the sound those things made just now, I was totally unaware of that. Didn't like that. you can see they're not really even managing to do terribly much damage to me, and they've killed off my shield at this point, but it was so little I wasn't paying that much attention. I'll switch off the laser Gatling gun here in just a minute, just because I need to conserve the ammo, which I really don't need to conserve the ammo. It's not like I'm doing tons of other dungeons at the moment, but I decided to conserve the ammo. Especially when my pickaxes go through in 2 hits. This is one thing that I've been considering too. I think I can get a potion that lets me reset my stats, and then I could pump the health boosting items I have into it to give me stats to move to other stats, because my health is capped off. So things like that I just straight up can't use at the moment because I have the maximum amount of health that I can passively have through my stats. But if I can reset his stats, then I could move some of those points over and continue boosting his life with those, because those seem to drop more than anything else, and try to get some of the other things towards being capped off. Alright, so how would I rate the Terraria dungeon and Terraria content overall? I would say it's 10 out of 10. Why? Because I had pretty much moved on from Palworld and stopped playing it as a game in total. And when I came back, it's a combination of things. Like, I didn't try out Faybreak, I didn't try out Sakura Tide. So this was the first patch that I'd come back for since the just baseline game. And all of the cumulative changes and quality of life improvements and just improvements in the game in general made it a super fun game, to the point where I bought a second copy of it for my PlayStation to make recording easier. So if you haven't played Palworld, or you've been considering giving it a try but still haven't, this is a good time to jump in. I've also since downloaded Ark, because I got a copy of Ark Ascended on my PlayStation for free, to test it out and see. And this game definitely, like 100%, is way more reminiscent of Ark than it is of Pokemon. Yeah, you've got the monster capture mechanic, which to me smooths out some of the rougher parts of Ark. Like, I'm having a bit of a hard time getting into Ark, not because of the base creation or all that stuff. That stuff's still interesting, but because taming is so much more of a pain in the rear than just catching Pal. This is a really fun update. It's a fun dungeon. It was worthwhile to build my time up to. I hope in the future they do more dungeons like this. Although, the one thing that I did take away from Ark that I think would be really cool if Pocket Pal lifted it from them is releasing entire new maps as DLC. So, same game, slightly tweaked settings for each map and slightly tweaked PAL availability. So, that would be interesting. Now, the creature collector crowd would probably get pissed off if there were sections of the game locked off to having PALs that don't exist in another one, but they could use something like the dimensional PAL box to fix that, so you could actually get all the PALs in one island if you wanted to. But I think that would be way more fun than just continuing to add islands into this one map. Having a completely new map that has a completely different way to approach the game. That would be really cool. Anyway, finally caught the eye this time. It has taken, I think this is my 3rd successful run through it, to actually get to a point where I remember to have something out beforehand that wouldn't just obliterate it. And open up our boxes. We get Terra Prisma, some more Celestial Sigil schematics, and a Vortex Beater. Alright, well with that we wrap up our final run through the Terraria dungeon. Hopefully we come up with another excuse to visit Palworld, but if not, next game destination I believe is Coromon. And remember, if I can beat it, so can you.